Okay, so this time I'm going to show you how to do question number 3 from the worksheet. So question number 3, okay? So this is the same graph, if you look at it. And what is the first thing we need to do? We need to look for the rise over run. Why? Because M is the slope, and to get the slope, okay, to get the slope, you need to get the rise over the run, okay? So if you look at this graph, you will find that the rise, okay, remember we need to look at it like a computer game. This dot needs to find its way up to this dot, but it cannot pass the slant. It has to follow the grid, okay? So if you look at the way it travels, it needs to go this way first, and then it needs to rise up, okay? Now, please remember, another thing we have to remember is when you look at the graph, at the direction of the graph, okay? If it goes up or right, that those are positives, okay? If it goes to the left or down, those are negatives, okay? So let's look at this one. It went to the right and then it went up. So that means both are positive numbers, okay? So this is the rise. Rise is equal to positive 1. And this is the run. Run is equal to, since it went 1, 2 to the right side, positive 2. Okay, now let's put that back into our formula for slope. Okay, so rise over run is positive 1 over positive 2. Okay, so the slope, or M, is 1 over 2. Now, how do we make this into our formula? Remember, the formula for linear equation is y equals mx plus c, where m is the slope and c would be the y-intercept. Okay, and intercept means that's where the line intercepts or crosses y, okay? So you can see, since we already solved for the slope, we already have one part of the equation. So let's put it in. Okay, so y is equal to 1/2 x. Now, let's look for the y-intercept, okay? Now, if you look closely, I'll use my red pen. This is where, okay, this is where the line, the linear line, meets the y-axis, okay? Just to as a reminder, up and down is y-axis, left and right is x-axis, okay? So, it's over here. So what is the value of this area? Since this point to this point, okay, is 1 unit. This is half. So this would be half of a unit, okay? So let's count. So remember, going down is negative, okay? So this would be -1, -2, -3, -4. So if this is -3 and this is -4, what value would that be? In between 3 and 4, so this would be -3.5 or -3.5. Okay, so if you want to use fraction, mixed numbers, or if you want to use decimals, it's up to you. Okay, so let us complete our formula. Okay, so it's y equals 1/2 x plus or minus. Let's look at where it is. So it is going down and it is below the y-axis. So that means this value is negative. So it's -3.5. Okay? Personally, I prefer working with decimals, so I'm just going to convert this. 1/2 we know is 0.5. So y is equal to 0.5x minus 3.5. Okay? Either one is correct. So now we have our formula. Let's check if it's correct. Okay? So how would we do that? Let's go back to our input output. Remember? Input output is made up of x and y. But what is x and y? Let's look at the 2 points that are given. These 2 points, okay? We need to look for the coordinate points. Okay? So how do we do that? Let's do this. The first point, okay? If I go from this point and make a line, okay, let me use my ruler. Okay? So I'm making a line. Okay? As you can see, if I raise up, okay, follow the track up here, you will see that this is aligned with this spot, okay? And since it's at the left side of the x-axis, this would be -1, okay? And then look at this one. Okay, if I go from this point to here, I will find that it hits this spot, this one. Okay, and according to our graph, this spot is -4. So the coordinate points of this is always start with the x coordinate -1 and the y coordinate -4. Okay, and look at this one. What would this be? This would be, again, let's see, let me just put my ruler here. Okay, as you can see, it hits this line. Okay, so this would be 1. Okay, and where does this hit? -3. So our coordinate points are 1 and -3. 1, because it aligns with the unit 1 in the x-axis, and -3 because it aligns with the -3 of the y-axis. Okay, so let's put it in our input-output table that looks familiar. So -1, if x is -1, y should be -4. Okay, if x is 1, y should be -3. Okay, so let's check if our answer is correct. If our equation is correct. How do we do that? You substitute. Okay, so let's try for this one. Okay, so y is equal to 0.5x minus 3.5. Y is equal to 0.5, substitute, minus 3.5. Y is equal to 0.5 times -1, so it becomes -0.5 minus 3.5. So -0.5 minus 3.5. Remember, if there's no brackets, it's an addition subtraction question and you need the number line, okay? So minus 0.5 minus 3.5 is equal to minus or -4. When x is equal to -1, y is equal to -4. Okay? So that means that the equation you extracted from the graph, okay, is correct. Let's try this one and see if it's correct, okay? So start with your basic equation, always. Y is equal to 0.5x minus 3.5. 0.5, then I substitute this times 1, okay, minus 3.5. So you have 0.5 minus 3.5 equals -3. As you can see, it's the same. So that means the equation that you got from the graph is correct. Okay? So, hope this tutorial helped you. Okay? And voila. See you. Bye-bye.